Party people, what is going on? Real quick, 1 second. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the T3 Q&A for Saturday. Let me turn on, oh, oops, we got some feedback over here. 1 second. Let me turn on the comments. What's going on, dudes? Let's see who is here. 1 second. The Cars and Watch certified T3 bot is here. Jay Sender says, hey, how you doing? Dan McCaslin certified T3 bot with that drip drip. Jeff Reynolds is here, says, good afternoon. It's still morning where I am. Mr. Unique Holmes Westbury says, hello from England. Callan Chaos says, love your videos, learned a lot about watch. Oh, awesome, dude. Klaus says, hey, Jory. Bugatti says, Time Teller loves Hublot. Justin Snyderman says, hi, T3. Mr. Unique says, big fan. Well, thank you so much, dude. Dean is here, certified T3 bot, which means hopefully we'll have a rant today, as long as he says, he gives me the green light. Lord Elgin, certified T3 bot. Bryson Haggard, certified T3 bot and moderator. All the well wishes and prayers for Bryson, who has the Rona right now. So, hey, clap, clap, clap your hands. I'm just kidding, dude. You'll be fine. But hope you're doing well. Hope your wife's doing well, and we're all thinking of you. I'm just trying to keep you up in high spirits over here. Let's see. Koenigsegg Agera RS Gryphon says, good morning. Jack O'Sullivan says, what's the crack from Ireland? Lord Elgin says, Bryson has Rona. Any plans for your Invicta collection? Timothy Cummings says, gonna get right to this one. Feel like I'm overthinking this, but can you buy a watch specifically to be worn on your right hand? I'm a lefty. So I'm left-handed as well, and I wear my watch on my right hand. However, there are only a few companies that make left-hand watches, like watches for the left hand. Watches for left-handed people, I should say. Some that come to mind, Panerai does that, and Tudor does that. Tudor has the Pelagos left-hand drive, if you're interested in that. And then, Panerai has a few various models, actually, that accommodate left-handed people. I think the easiest is just to wear normal watches on your right wrist if you're a lefty. And here's why. Number one, you almost never actuate the crown when your watch is on your wrist anyway. So if you talk to any watchmaker, they will tell you that when a watch is on your wrist, this is my Whoop strap, but for the sake of this here, I'll move this strap up and I'll show you. So if I were to wear my watch, right, the way that most people wear their watches, okay, like this, on your left wrist, most watchmakers would recommend you not using the crown, okay, while it's on your wrist. Why? Because you could put pressure on the crown stem and break it. So almost every watch manufacturer says not to actuate the crown while it's on the wrist. They want you to take the watch off of your wrist and then actuate the crown, okay? So that's the first reason that it really doesn't matter what side the crown is on. The second reason that I love wearing my normal watches on my right wrist is because the crown isn't up here. So when I move my arm, and look, there's nothing hitting me, nothing touching me. Most divers, okay, and this is a long time, this is actually, I think, why Panerai started doing this for their diving. It's because when divers go to dive and they're swimming and they're doing things underwater, okay, a lot of divers got upset that that crown guard was bumping their wrist. Now they'd be wearing on their right wrist. So they started putting their watches on their opposite arms so the crown wouldn't be bumping up against the wrist. So Panerai was like, oh, you know what? We're just going to move the crown over for certain models and then people will be happy. That's exactly why the Pelagos did that as well. Excuse me. We have a super chat from Matthew Kent. Says, no question, just saying love the channel and the info. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jordan, certified T3 bot, is here. He says, oh, hi, watch fam. Jordan Snyder, another Jordan, says, what's up, T3? Did we discuss the Carrera yet? No, we didn't, because we have only been here for 5 minutes. Linky is in the office, everyone. Jay Anderson says, hello, Jody. Wrong channel, although we do love Jody in Just One More Watch, but I am not him. Different person. Timothy Cummings says, such an awesome answer. That's why you're the best. Thank you. Well, that's why you're the best. Thank you. Mike Kalustion, certified C3 bot, just reminded me it is time for, drumroll, wristwatch check, because every time we hit 100 people on the live stream, we do a wristwatch check. As you guys saw, because I kind of gave up the ghost a little bit, I'm wearing my Rolex 16570. If I could, oops, camera's over here. There we go. We got it in the light. We're good. We're good. We're good. We have a 40 millimeter slim lug oyster case, GMT automatic, 100 meter water resistance rating at least, threaded crown, and a quick set jumping hour hand, independent of the hand set. Very, very cool. Why have I been wearing this watch a lot lately? Because it's on a winder. That's right, I keep this watch on a winder because I don't want to reset the GMT complication and the date complication and yada, 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 yada. So I just keep this on a winder and it's always ready to go. Bada bing, bada boom. Alibata says, I have a hair tie on my wrist. Wow, you remind me of my girlfriend. Spencer Patterson says, hey Jory, I know you love G-Shock. Have you thought of doing a Casio Royal Oak mod? No. Number one, because I'm not a big fan of the Casio Royal Oak, but number two, because I'm not really a big fan of homages, so I don't know why I'd want a watch that I already am not super interested to look like an homage of another watch. Let me see. We got a ton of questions, heck yeah. Tom Mulrooney's here, says, good morning all. Alex says, hello Jory, love you. Well, I love you, bro. Callan Chaos says, are Invicta automatic all junk? I'm into the gold ones with champagne dial. It'd be my first automatic. It's going for $80 US on Amazon. I'd like an expert opinion. Well, I'm not sure to which you speak. I don't know which one you're talking about, but I personally do not recommend Invicta. I think that there's a lot of watches you could choose other than that, but here's what I'll say. A lot of my viewers, some of my members even, wear Invicta watches, and that's fine. So if you like it, then get it and wear it. That's perfectly fine. But if you want my personal opinion, just this one dude's opinion, I don't recommend Invicta. Let's see. Johan Sigfridsson says, hello from Sweden. Periodical Man says, new Porsche? Well, yes, I own a Porsche, but it's not new. It's an older Porsche. But yes, I do own a Porsche now. Amen says, Chrono Swiss Flying Regulator Night and Day or Breguet 7097. Chrono Swiss is sick, okay? However, I would recommend the Breguet. I'm on a huge Breguet kick right now, so I recommend Breguet. Marissa, certified T3 bot, and my sister says, morning, everyone. Oh, from Oklahoma City. Over there, in her little cottage in Oklahoma City. Jordan was certified T3 bot with the super chat. Thank you. Says, do you think field watches are such a basic sterile concept that even though they all look slightly the same, they're not homages by their very natures? Well, I don't think they're sterile necessarily. Sterile, I would consider Bauhaus like very sterile. I think most field watches are actually kind of rustic. It's a very different look. Like sterile are like straight lines, very like blocky and like Bauhaus, literally Bauhaus. Basic, Jordan. Okay, basic is a better descriptor. Yes, very basic, probably kind of rustic in my opinion. I suppose you could argue that all field watches, like all archetypes of the field watch, are homages to the original hack watch. I suppose you could say that. But that's in the truest sense of an homage. See, I'm going to go on a rant. Dean, please give me the green light for this rant. The word homage has been abused, and it's not even by me. It's actually by the people who want to argue that things I consider just blatant ripoffs are homages. Okay, let me explain. The Invicta Pro Diver, in my opinion, is not an homage. Okay, I think that is a ripoff. I think it's a blatant ripoff of a Rolex Submariner. It is a essentially one-to-one copy with a few things changed, and obviously it's not the same quality, but when you put those two watches next to each other, as I have, you can't really say it's an homage. It is just a copy. Now, in the truest sense of the word homage, it's supposed to be like a subtle inspiration, right? So certain things that are kind of nods or inspirations or design cues, when you take one watch to another watch, those could be homages. But then there are things that I consider just ripoffs, like the Invicta Pro Diver, like the Maurice Lacroix Aiken, like Steinhardt watches. These aren't really homages. These are just kind of ripoffs. But people that defend these want to call them homages, so now the watch world has agreed we'll just all call these homages. But I'm kind of really hard line about this, and I think an homage should be just a subtle nod, just a inspiration. So it's yeah, I think people are a little bit loose with the word homage. They consider things that are really just ripoffs homages when they should just be considered ripoffs. There, I said it. Rant over. Mic drop. But Jordan, to answer your super chat question, yeah, I think we could consider like all classic field watches inspired by the original hack watch, right? But then you have watches like this, this is technically a field watch. And this has nothing to do with the original hack watch. So it's, there's many different kinds of field watches even. So, yeah. Great question. People are asking what type of 911 I got. It is a 996C2. And boy, have I already done a ton to it. What is my grail watch? Well, I have a few. But I think right now, one would be the Creator Aichi 2, which is just a gorgeous watch. And they have even a blue dial version right now. And then the Rolex 6062 is just an incredible watch. Have I heard of Scottish watches? I have not. Young Excellency, hey Jory, you ever gonna do any more live streams from the park? I missed the parrots, Red Wing boot talk, and random fan encounters. Well, we can still talk about Red Wing boots. It's not like just because I'm not at the park I won't talk about Red Wings. Here's why I don't do them at the park, is because I think that I might be shunned if I go outside and I start yelling in the camera when in Los Angeles County we're all supposed to be locked away. So I don't want to get myself in hot water by being people will do crazy things. Like, I don't want to be the next person that people are showing up with, like, their iPhones being like, oh, this guy is yelling into a camera outside. He's supposed to be inside. Look at this. And then now I'm like a pariah, and then I get blacklisted from YouTube. So like, I just got to do what everyone else is doing, and I just got to stay inside, I guess, which is crazy. Also, if I'm outside, like in that park, people are going to expect me to wear a mask, and I don't want to have to wear a mask to yell into the camera. So yeah, I wish I could be outside. We have a super chat. Sakari 1138. How do you feel about homage / ripoffs of watches that aren't made anymore, where it's not easy to buy the real thing? Well, see, now you're doing what I don't like. Okay, you're conflating homages with ripoffs. See, an homage to a watch, an inspiration, a subtle nod to a watch is fine. But then these ripoffs that I don't like that's what I'm arguing. Homage and ripoffs aren't the same. Like, we should be allowed to have subtle nods to watches, subtle inspirations, subtle design cues from other watches. That's perfectly fine. But I don't like one-to-one copies of things. And these one-to-one copies of things, the watch world has agreed to call homages when they're not. They're just ripoffs. So, whatever. Durbagger says, why did I see a Porsche in the thumbnail? Because I own one. And that is mine. Jordan says, sorry I started the homage flood. I was mulling it over. Big deal, dude. But it's not, you didn't start anything. I mean, these are conversations that we have to have in the watch world. Sajad says, hi, what's your opinion on the Laurier Falcon 2? I've never heard of it. Let me look it up. We're gonna learn something today, guys. Oh, I've seen this online. Okay, it looks like a Rolex Explorer, kind of. The lugs are a little bit thicker. Or I should say the case looks to be a little bit thicker into the bracelet. Maybe the lugs are longer, maybe that's what it is. It looks nice, I know nothing about it. Laurier wrote to me, and they asked if I want to do a review, and I was like, okay, and then they just never replied, so... In the house, sorry, I'm trying to read, all these names are like, in the house asks, hey mate, just got myself a solar tuna, thinking about getting a tuna SBBN 031. What are your pros and cons? Great question. One of my favorite everyday watches. Pros, it's a lot more wearable than people think. I think people see the watch measurements on paper and they get a little bit intimidated. So pros, it's very wearable and it's not super cumbersome. Let's see. Another pro is that it has a lot of strap options, I will say, and the great drilled lugs, my favorite. So I think another pro is that I've worn it on like olive drab Zulu straps. I've worn it on leather straps. I've worn it on the bracelet. I've worn it on silicone even. So it is very, very versatile. Let me try to think of a con. I guess the only con that I can think of is that once you get that watch, you're going to compare every other dive watch to it. I think that's the big issue. I think one huge issue with the SBBN tuna, like the actual tuna, is that once you get one in your collection, you're going to be comparing every other sports diver to that watch, and it's going to be difficult to want to get another one because the crown is incredibly smooth, the bezel is so nice, the crystal, the double domed crystal is like gorgeous. Godly shoes, you must not own one because the truth is that's not a con. It wears so easily and it lays so flat on the wrist. It's but people only know what it says on paper. They read the spec sheet and they're like, wow, it's huge. Well, I think that you should maybe wear one because it's actually incredibly wearable. Excuse me. Random Rob is here. Go show Random Rob some love. He says SPBN tunas are great. Hope to see the new one. Random Rob, I believe, on his channel, I saw him review the Spring Drive tuna. So go ahead and take a look at his channel. Go and subscribe and watch that review, because I learned some stuff about it from his channel. That fellow there said, oh, check out time. Oh, okay. So guys, by the way, been getting a bunch of questions. There is no, well, I was going to say there's no website, but if you go to my website, www.thetimetellershop.com, you might learn what is going on for Black Friday. That's right. We are doing a Black Friday sale. Use the coupon code TURKEYTIME, one word, all caps, TURKEYTIME, and you're going to be getting a huge discount on all the available watches. We are restocking for Black Friday, midnight, November 27th, Pacific time. Now, for my American viewers, when is midnight? It's funny, we have a watch channel, and then a lot of people still don't know when midnight is, which is just insane to me. So guys, for my American viewers, on Thursday, when you've eaten your turkey, okay, and then you wake up, like you wake up from your little nap after you eat, it's still going to be Thursday, all right? It's still going to be Thursday, so don't go to bed after you've eaten your food. Maybe take like an hour nap, all right? But then once 11:59 p.m. happens and it's Thursday, once it clock strikes midnight, boom, it's Friday. So I'm talking about the midnight right after your Thanksgiving meal. You would be surprised how many people last year, when like after Thanksgiving, they thought it was Friday 11:59 and then boom, Saturday midnight. No, it's Black Friday, not Black Saturday, Black Friday. So, yeah. Lord Elgin, Certified T3 Bot, says we should have a midnight live stream. I think the issue with doing that is that I don't want to take traffic away from the website, right? I'm trying to sell watches here, baby. Mike Kalustian, Certified T3 Bot, opinion about buying watches at pawn shops, yes or no? I guess the short answer is no. I don't really. I don't know what to. It just seems sketch. I've never purchased a watch at a pawn shop. What I will say is that in LA, we have a ton of pawn shops. I've gone into a few pawn shops just if they're on the street that I'm on and I'm walking around or whatever, we might like pop in if I see something interesting. And a lot of the time when they just charge based upon brand name. So they might have some old beat up Rolex, but because it has Rolex on the dial, they'll be like $12,000 when it's like some like stainless steel date just that doesn't even have the bracelet. So it's like, yeah, I personally don't recommend most pawn shops. But Spork 13117 says, what do you not like about the Orient Defender 2 other than the date wheel? It has a 3 o'clock crown, I believe, which is kind of boring. The dial layout is not as interesting. It's just not as interesting of a watch. I think it's probably a perfectly fine watch as far as build quality goes, but build quality is not the only thing you look at when you're buying a watch, right? There are a lot of really solid, really well-made watches that I'm also not interested in. It's just like cars, right? There's a lot of really well-made cars that I just wouldn't be interested in because they don't, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. People are asking about the Time Teller shop. We ship worldwide, guys. We ship worldwide. I've sent watches to Scotland, to, well, pretty much almost every part of the UK, honestly. I've sent watches to Italy, to Dubai, I think, to Malaysia, to Singapore, to Hong Kong, to Beijing. I think I sent a watch. I've sent a watch to Japan. I've sent a watch to Germany, to Switzerland a few times, to France a few times, to the Netherlands, to Colombia, and there's one more. España. I sent a watch to Spain. Thoughts on H. Moser? All hype, Nas, Choka. I don't think it's all hype. I think some of their watches are really nice, actually. I don't think that they're like God's gift to watchmaking, but I think that they make a lot of really, really cool watches. I have not sent a watch to Serbia yet, but I mean, I'm down. Buy a watch, and I'll send it to you. Why so many Seiko fans hate the Samurai? Watch this guy, certified T3 bot. Well, oh, Jordan, I see your super chat, by the way. Jordan, I see your super chat. Give me 1 second. But to answer, watch this guy's question, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but the reason I dislike the Seiko Samurai is because the lugs are enormous. It has a 3 o'clock crown that is oversized. The bezel is really, really thick, and it's incredibly ugly. It's just a really, really ugly watch. It's probably the most boring Seiko diver they've ever come out with. Jordan with the super chat. He is a certified T3 bot guy, so we thank his support. What's a Parnas? Bambi eyes. What's a Parnas? A Parnas is a ripoff. It is not an homage. People want to call it an homage company. Things like Parnas and things like Pagani designs. These are not homages. These are ripoffs. Walt Disney, what do you drink? Water or H2O? Great question. Let me answer this question with another question. Walt, how do you feel about Jews? I'll wait. Do you have watch prints at your shop? Jay Anderson, yeah, we have a lot from 937, beautiful designer. He does all the work for us in regards to the watch prints, and he makes really great ones. So yeah, I think we have like 6 or 7 or 8 different prints to choose from, with more coming in all the time. We're gonna add some more designs, but yeah, we sold 6 prints last week, I think. So a lot of them. We have the Rolex Explorer 2, we have the SKX 007 and the 009. We have a few Speedmaster prints. We have a Seamaster print, I think. Just a bunch of really cool ones. TTB fan, we all know Walt's feelings about the chosen people. The Opulent Life. Do you prefer Baume and Mercier or Maurice Lacroix? Baume et Mercier. Their moon phase that I spoke about, probably, I don't know, it was this week, but I forgot which day. Wednesday? Was a really, 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 really great moon phase. The Richmond or something, I forgot what they called it. The something moon phase. It was great. By the way, guys, stay tuned. After this live stream, I will be uploading the Friday episode, but we had to do a few revisions to it, so it's coming out on Saturday. I hope you don't mind, but we do have another episode this week, so don't worry. We're still same schedule. We were just a little bit late this week because I blame the editor. Do you eat cheese or do you drink milk? Both, right? I mean, I eat cheese when I want to, and I drink milk when I want to. I don't think I totally understand that question, but yeah, both. May contain bleach with the super chat. Hi, Jory. Do you know anything about Weiss Watch Company movements? More specifically, are these movements actually made in-house? Well, may contain bleach, great question. Don't want to get myself into any trouble here. I don't want to be slanderous or libelous, so I'm just going to go with what I've read, okay? The FTC sent a letter to Weiss Watch Company because I think what happened was Weiss Watch Company was claiming that their products were all American made in-house, and I have the letter. You can find it online. Weiss Watch Co. FTC. 1 second. Yeah. In ftc.gov/proceedings, there's a closing letter. You can look it up. the FTC, the Federal Trades Commission, who they govern, federal trades. They got mad at Shinola for doing a similar thing, but to speak on your question about whether or not it is made in America, this was sent to them in 2015. Okay, and this was something that I knew about when it happened in 2015. This is from the Federal Trades Commission, sent to Cameron Weiss, who is the CEO of Weiss Watch Co. Let me see. So it says, "Dear Mr. Weiss, we received your submissions on behalf of Weiss Watch Company. During our review, we raised concerns that certain marketing materials may have overstated the extent to which Weiss's watches are made in the United States. Specifically, although Weiss sources many parts in the United States, the key parts used to make the watch's movements are imported from are imported from Switzerland." Let me read that again. "Specifically, although Weiss sources many parts from the United States, the key parts used to make the watch's movements are imported from Switzerland. As discussed, unqualified made in USA or built in USA claims likely to suggest consumers that products are all or virtually all made in the United States. The Commission may analyze a number of different factors to determine whether a product is all or virtually all made in the United States, including proportion to the product's total manufacturing cost, blah, 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 blah." So, here, this is the really important part. In this case, though the cost of the Swiss parts may be small relative to Weiss's overall U.S. manufacturing costs, the imported parts constitute the key parts of the movement and are essential to the watch's function. Accordingly, to avoid deceiving consumers, Weiss implemented a remedial action plan to qualify its representation, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, they I don't know what we're getting at here, but I just want to let you know that you're not the only person that was raising concerns as to if it's really fully American, and I'm actually not sure. There's documents online. I was just reading a federal document that you can Google. Just type in Weiss Watch Co. FTC, and that will show up. Reading comments. Vince Goodrum is here, certified T3 bot. What's going on, brother? Rick Green, certified T3 bot, says, "I believe it's a lower standard for a watch to claim Swiss made versus made in USA." I don't know. And keep in mind, guys, that document was from 2015. So things may have changed since then. I just want to bring that up as well. Jay Anderson, have you heard of a legal fight between Swatch Group and a small brand called Vortic? No. Didn't know about that. I don't even know about Vortic. Jordan, with the super chat, says, "Thoughts on importance of Usagi Yojimbo in the overall TMNT canon as opposed to his own EU." So, Stan Sakai, who is the creator of Usagi Yojimbo, is a big fan of TMNT, and I've always been a big fan of his. I have the Spaceman Usagi action figure full set, and I also have the regular action figure. So I'm a huge fan of Usagi Yojimbo, and I think that even if you want to separate their universes, I think that TMNT and Usagi Yojimbo both have very, very cool universes. Obviously, Usagi Yojimbo is more samurai, feudal, Japan-esque, and TMNT is more modern, but they cross over. And so I love both of those characters. Great question. By the way, Lewis Hamilton is in a legal battle with Hamilton Watch Company, or they were. They just broke it off. And I've made an episode about that. So stay tuned, because we are going to go over that next week. I made an episode all about this 3-year legal battle that Lewis Hamilton had with Hamilton Watch Company, which is just ridiculous because, yeah, it's just ridiculous. How depressing. Do you want to watch that you... Well, How Depressing is the name, by the way. Do you want to watch that you used to wear as a teenager, as a child, that you want to own now as an homage, or just quirky? You want to watch that? I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question. Someone help me understand that question. Where can we see more 996 content? On the way, guys. It's coming. It's coming. You're going to really enjoy what I've done to the car, though. Full racing suspension, fab speed exhaust. More on the way. Polly Walnuts says, Jory, I collected comics back in the day, and I have many of the original Usagi Yojimbos. Well, very, very cool. He's one of my favorite characters. Where is Link? He's asleep behind me under one of my shelves. Enrique says, cheers from Costa Rica. What's going on, man? Abel, is Hamilton a disliked brand? I don't think so. I absolutely love Hamilton. Durbagger, did that replace anything? Subi, Jeep? Nope. I have 3 of my dream cars. I own 3 of my dream cars right now. I have my dream rally car, STI. I have my dream Jeep, Rubicon. And I have a Porsche 911 996 C2. Jordan, have you ever thought about getting official dedicated cat cam? You know what's so funny, Jordan? Is that I had something called the party cam at the beginning of the channel. I don't know how long I know you're a fairly new member. You're a great member. You're actually a very active member, which I'm very, very thankful for. But I don't know how long you've been a subscriber. So we had something called the party cam for a little while on the channel, and it was a camera that was right next to me, the side. And I used to do little confessionals to it in the middle of an episode. A lot of people really liked it, but a lot of people hated it for some reason. And this was back when I edited my own stuff. So it was also kind of difficult. It pretty much doubled my editing time because I wasn't very good at editing. So now that I have editors, I might just do the party cam again and just make Gato edit it all. And then we might have a cat cam. That would be very fun. We could have a second camera on me to do confessionals, and then we can have a camera, like a feed on Link and Seiko the whole time. That would be great. Do the party cam. Who here remembers party cam? Jay Anderson, do you have a track toy? You'll see what I'm doing with the 996. Ferris K, hey Jory, love your videos. The stream's very informative. Any idea when the Monta watch will come out? We gotta keep working with Monta about the review. They have to send me papers to sign. They haven't sent them to me. I'm not gonna get on their case about it because I assume them being a smaller company with COVID and everything. I run a small business. I run a few, so I know what it's doing to me, so I can only imagine what it's probably doing to them as well. Life of Sam, were you adding the bubble sipping noise while you were editing your own videos? No, I wasn't. But it's very fun. It's a very fun addition that Gato did. How much of the humorous edits are Gato freestyling? A lot of it is Gato. I don't want to. So here's the thing: I wouldn't have Gato working with me if he wasn't equally as creative as myself. He has to bring something to the table. Not only his editing, I needed an editor that could kind of keep up with me with the hits and the, you know, landing of the jokes and everything. And so he's just as creative, you know, putting his own twist on things. Now, what I will say, you don't see the direction that happens on camera because obviously, you know, I interact with him via the camera. So he's not here, but like I might give some notes or some cues on camera. And then obviously there's an editing process. There's a drafting process. So he'll come to me with certain things. I'll see it. And dude, 9 times out of 10, Gato like crushes it first time. It's like he just does it, and then that draft is the draft we go with. But sometimes there needs to be certain tweaks and certain clarifications and this and that. And let me put it this way: for someone who was literally like this was thrust upon him, and he was not really in the watch world before this, he's doing a really good job. Like this is someone editing dedicated watch content that like prior to working for the channel had no idea about like wristwatches really. So I mean, he wasn't like a total idiot. I'm just saying like he had a few watches but didn't really know much about watches. So he's doing a great job. Round of applause for the editor, by the way. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Vince Goodrum. Dang it. Vince Goodrum has the weekly... We've missed him. But he does a weekly Invicta reference number for us. And oh man, I'm so excited for it. So this is the Invicta model 32417. I don't know anything about this. Let's go ahead and look it up. And we will see what we were working with. Oh my gosh. What is this? It's like graffiti. Okay, so it's a bolt. And from what I know, bolts are like the big uns. It's like the big ones. It's quartz. 52 millimeters. I almost said guilloche dial, but that's not a guilloche dial. That is not a guilloche dial. There's some texturing on the dial, huge. I assume that's sub-seconds down by where the 6 o'clock would normally be. I don't know what that is under the 6 o'clock, like on the case. There's like a thing. I think that it's supposed to be graffiti or some form of like urban modern art in the city. Oh my gosh, that's a second watch head. What the hey? 200-meter water resistance though. Yeah. This is terrible, guys. I don't know, I've never seen one in person, but this looks absolutely terrible. Life of Sam says 52 millimeters is like a house arrest anklet. Screw down crown? I think so. I don't know, man. Thank you for that, Vince. Thank you. Is Gato here today? I don't think he's here right now, but... Jory, thoughts on Space Jam 2? I will not see it. If it's not Michael Jordan, I don't care. Do I like the Khaki King? Okay, so the Khaki King, short answer is yeah, I'm sure it's a great everyday watch. Long answer is that it's kind of disappointing, and here's why. They could have given it, you know, the Khaki King has like integrated crown guards, I believe. It has a different case, and it could have, they could have given it like extra functionality, like a threaded crown or an enhanced water resistance rating, and they didn't. They didn't at all. They did not at all. So it's just a disappointment, kind of a letdown. I'm still a fan of Hamilton, but you know, the Jack Ryan, yeah, I think the Jack Ryan, is it Jack Ryan, or am I? Yes, the Jack Ryan character wears that Hamilton chronograph. Not Jack Reacher, different. I was mixing them up though. The Jack Ryan chronograph, Hamilton chronograph, has a threaded crown. Why couldn't they give like one of their multiple field watches a threaded crown? I don't get it. It's just ridiculous. What do I think about Louis? Actually, what? What? I don't know what this is. Cartier, Basculante, or Reverso? Reverso. Pretty much will not pick anything over a Reverso. Okay, I've never heard of these watches. The Louis watches are garbage. These are absolute garbage. Oh my gosh, they're trash. Nope, these are garbage fashion watches. Xbox or PlayStation 5? Xbox. Opinion on Groenfield's Parallax Tourbillon. Okay, so Groenfield makes incredible watches. The detail on their watches are crazy. They're microders, insane. Novelty or haute horology? I think it can be both PLM. I think most of haute horology is novelty. Because let's face it, a lot of these haute horology watches you wouldn't really wear every day, which kind of defines it as being a novelty. So I think, yeah, most of these are novelties, and they are haute horology. I think any like the Gyro Tourbillon from JLC, that is a crazy, ridiculous haute horology watch, and it's definitely a novelty because you wouldn't wear that every day. So yeah, I don't think those two terms are mutually exclusive. Well, Vince, I kind of agree with you. I don't necessarily think tourbillons are off-putting. I just think they're not super duper functional. It's kind of like, and there aren't a whole lot of tourbillon watches I like. There are some. It's just not a huge need for me. The Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Traditionnel tourbillon, the Longa Datograph Perpetual Tourbillon Salmon Dial in white gold, let's see, Glasuta makes a tourbillon, which is really nice, I believe. So yeah. Michael Paris, yeah, Michael, I've made an episode about this, Michael. Hamilton is like Hollywood's watchmaker. I don't necessarily know how I feel about that, but yeah, it is absolutely product placement. If you think that just randomly these companies are using Hamilton watches, you're just crazy. They're obviously using it. What's tourbillon? You spelled it incorrectly, but it doesn't matter because I know what you're talking about. Just so you know, so a tourbillon is it's essentially a movement regulator, and it's beautiful. It's complicated. I guess it's literally a complication, but it's not necessary for a watch movement to have, and it is kind of icing on the cake. TAC has the most affordable, I believe. Yeah, the most affordable Swiss-made one. Yes. Vince, I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, I'm a PlayStation 5 guy. I don't have a PS5 yet, but I am. If I had to choose between Xbox or PlayStation, it would be PlayStation. Toblerone is chocolate. Yo, the difference, Jordan, is that a tourbillon is unnecessary. Toblerone is necessary. I freaking love Toblerones. Oh my gosh. So good. Give me that triangular chocolate, boy. What's my ultimate grail watch? I get this question about 10 times a day. Rolex 6062. I absolutely love that watch. Is that your car in the thumbnail? Yes, one of them. Able to Cycle says, great chat, people. You are all awesome. Love this chat. I love you guys. Gringotts Gomblin. Gotta go to Gringotts and get a chocolate frog. I think my new grail is the Patek GS they just released. Patel. Tourbillon equals gyroscope. Bada bing, bada boom. Why didn't you buy a modern 911? For a multitude of reasons. Number one, they're exorbitantly expensive, but that's not even actually the first reason. I have a laundry list of reasons. Number one, all modern 911s after the 997s, essentially, like the 991.2s, they all have turbos because of emissions. That's really stupid. So even the non-turbo Carreras have turbos. That is so stupid. No, that's number one. Number two, they are all buses. These new 911s are enormous. They are huge. They do not handle like a dude, I'm sure they handle incredibly, but they don't drive the same way as a proper 911. They're enormous. Number three, you will have limited manual gearbox options, okay? Number four, it's essentially a computer with wheels, all right? It is the antithesis of an analog drive input, okay? You want to talk about the light front end and the planted feel of 911? Yeah, I'm sure that the new 911s feel really planted, but it's not analog. And the driver input, it's going through computers and everything. It's just, they are incredibly fast. The new ones are incredibly fast. They're absolute weapons. They are crazy. I think they're ugly. I think the newest ones are really ugly, in my opinion. I know that's kind of blasphemy. And they're non-naturally aspirated. Again, you're getting limited gearbox options, and they're, yeah, even getting a base Model 1, you're getting close to the six figures, and in my estimation, that's just not, that is not worth it for me. So I got a 3.4 liter, first of the water cooled 996 6-speed manual. Has full Koni adjustable front and rear racing yellows, which are their racing shocks. Has H&R sport springs front and rear. It's dropped 1.5 inches. I'm running negative camber on the front. I have the Fabtech Super Cup exhaust, and the thing flies. When we're talking about the power to weight ratio, the 996, it's the last of the you have to understand, dude, that the 996 is less than 3,000 pounds. It's like the last of the sub 3,000 naturally aspirated 911s. I mean, just that's all you need to know. Mr. Unique says, bye, Mr. Jory. Bye-bye. Get a Singer 4.0. Man, when I first learned about Singers, I was obsessed with them. I was obsessed with them. V-dub, is driving style in the 911 hard to get used to, being rear engine, rear wheel drive equals understeer? So there is some understeer. However, it is not difficult to get the front end to do what you want. Um, you just have to know how to hit the apex properly. In 911s, you don't lose traction very often, but the one thing you need to know is that when you do lose traction, you lose it very fast. But I have not had an issue. Did I replace the IMS bearing? That's the first thing people, yeah, I still have my STI and I still have my Jeep. When people think 996, they think IMS bearing, which is crazy because the 997s also have an IMS bearing that had similar issues. First of all, it's an overstated problem. That's the number one. The number two is you have to look at the years. Okay, so I have a 99, which has the dual row output shaft for the IMS bearing. That had a less than 1% failure rate according to a United States class action lawsuit. So out of everything that they studied, anything pre 2000 had a less than 1% IMS bearing failure rate. Okay, that's the number one thing. Number two, I'm still getting it replaced. In December 2nd, that's getting replaced anyway because I figured out of sight, out of mind, just do it, set it and forget it, and then I won't ever have to worry about it. But I'm not terribly worried, but it doesn't matter because like in a couple weeks it's getting retrofitted anyway. What year did he get? If you get a 2000 or later, you have to worry about the IMS bearings. But I purposefully found a 99 with the dual row output shaft, and then I don't really have to worry about it. Dean knows what he's talking about. I'm never selling that Jeep. I'm never ever selling that Jeep. Why not 997? 996 is the first water cooled, dude. And it's less than 3,000 pounds. 997s started getting heavy. 997s are not the same driving experience. They're much heavier than the 996 C2. Gotta go. Bye, George. All right, AJW. William Rizzo. Durbagger says, always hit your apex, always. Justin Kim says, yo, Jory, hope you're having a good day so far. Thanks, brother. Nice to see you, dude. Brake really, really hard at the top of the apex. Yeah, and then gun it so that your rear wheel will just spin out, and then the weight of the rear engine will just pendulum you off the side of the cliff. Looking forward to a drive time review of the 911. Oh yeah, you bet. That's going on. What's on your right wrist? My watch. My right wrist? This is my right wrist, and it is my wristwatch. It's my Rolex Explorer 2. Do you still have the Jeep? Yes, I'm never selling my Jeep. War Pig will stay. Young Excellency says, lefties for life! Jay Anderson says, what's on your left wrist? Okay, so this is a Whoop strap. A few Navy SEALs that I follow were wearing this, and so I decided to pick one up, and it is actually incredible. It does things that other, like the G-Shock is great for when I run, but this does things that Fitbits, G-Shocks, they just don't do. This calculates my sleep and my breathing intervals when I sleep, and it processes all this data and tells me what I should be doing. So it's a very small package. It's not super cumbersome, but not only does it doesn't do steps, because the truth is step counting is actually a very poor indicator of like caloric burn. It calculates calories based on your breathing and based on your heart rate. It sees how. So here's the number one selling point for me, is that with all the studies on this whoop strap, it's been able to minimize injuries by 60%, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. So, yeah, crazy. William Peck says, what's the worst Porsche you can buy? In my opinion, so my thoughts have changed on this. Initially, I was saying like the 944s, like any of the front engine Porsche cars were terrible. But then now that like I'm older, I decided that it's like those are kind of cool in a way, in their own like quirky way. I think the Boxster. I think the worst Porsche you can buy is a Boxster. I think they're, and I'm talking about the 986 Boxster. They're just kind of boring. And they handle really well, I'm sure, but I just don't like them. So, yeah, not a big fan. You know what also handles kind of freaky is a 930 Turbo, which is what Steve said. Steve Play Certified T3 Bot says 930 Turbo. I actually kind of agree with him. When the 930 Turbos first came out, people were totaling them and like killing themselves because they didn't have like boost control back then. So what would happen is people would like, they would be driving them, they're like, oh cool, I have a Porsche. But it was like the 1970s. So they would like step on it and then nothing would happen, 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 and then nothing would happen. And then that whole time, boost was just building and building and building, and then it kicks in, and then the rear tires just let loose, and you're immediately spinning out. So they didn't have good boost control in the early days, and Americans also didn't really understand forced induction very well if it wasn't like a supercharger. So in America, we used superchargers, and then these Europeans came in and were showing us about turbos and stuff. We're like, what's this? And then, yeah, it was either all or nothing back then. Yeah, Derbagger says turbos were on off in the 70s. Don't get me wrong, I'd totally get a 930 turbo. I would love to have one. I just understand that it would be terrifying to drive. You know what does drive really well are the Macans. I test drove a Macan, and they actually drive really, really nicely. Jeffrey says, good afternoon from Virginia. I'm with you on the Boxster. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad cars. Just the early Boxsters are just boring. They're just, you drive one and you're like, oh man, you know it'd be really cool? A 911. Not a big fan of the 914. Just not a huge guy of 914. Ever wanted to get a motorcycle? Yeah, there are a few motorcycles that I would have loved to own, but they're just too dangerous. And after, let me be clear, they're too dangerous to drive in Los Angeles. Riding a motorcycle in Los Angeles, I've known 2 people that have passed away because of it, and it's just, it's something that would just be a little fender bender in LA traffic is like fatal. Like, you know, if you bump something in your car and you're like, oops, if you do that on a motorcycle, it's like you could just be dead. So it's, yeah. Audi R8 V10, super sick. I don't hate it. Think that if you're gonna get the Audi R8, you get the V10. Bro, the LFA Nürburgring edition, so sick. That thing rips. You want to talk about a 10-cylinder? That thing sounds ridiculous. I got to hear one in person. That thing revs up so fast. Wow, wow. Like, that thing is... LFA, the Lexus LFA was kind of written off because it was made by Lexus, I think. And I think in 20 years, people will be looking back on the Lexus LFA and they'll be like, wow, that was a ridiculous sports car for the time. LFA is easily one of my favorite sports cars, and I think it's just super underrated. Jordan says, what are your thoughts on extensive body modifications to integrate a bone sundial? I'm not a big sundial guy, though. Fastgo, what about muscle cars? Yeah, I like muscle cars. I'm not big into drag racing, but like, dude, if you gave me a Roadrunner or a Barracuda, Mopar, baby. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm talking about the like original ones. I'm not talking about any of these like modern iterations of like Challengers and stuff. Not a big fan of that. But 70s, 60s, 70s muscle cars, heck yeah. What's the spec on my 996? It is a 99 C2. Naturally aspirated, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, like God intended the 911 to be. Do I like motorcycles? Yeah, I do. I really like motorcycles. I've ridden a Kawasaki Ninja, got that out of my system. Yeah. But speaking of suspension on the 911, mine's crazy. Like I said, I got the Coney Yellow fully adjustable racing shocks front and rear, paired with the H&R aggressive, like pretty aggressive spring rates front and rear for the sport springs. Again, front and rear. I have Eibach 24 millimeter sway bars front and rear, and then Fabtech exhausts, Super Cup exhausts. Oh my God, no, Fabtech is the suspension company for Jeeps. Oh my God, Fab Speed. I have Fab Speed Super Cup exhaust. Oh my gosh. Don't lift the corner. Let me put it this way. Whenever I go into a like entryway in Los Angeles, I'm on 3 wheels because of how stiff it is. I'm like, 1 wheel is in the air. So if I'm like pulling into a gas station, I can tell that 1 wheel is like off the ground a little bit. That's how like stiff like the racing suspension is. Will you now buy a Porsche design watch? There are some older Porsche design watches that are actually sick, made by IWC, that I like. The modern ones, which might also be made by IWC, I just don't really like. The 996 Carrera 4, the 996.1 Carrera 4 is really cool. The 996.2 C4S is also really cool. The C4S is having a huge, is in a huge bubble right now. Giant brakes, 4-piston front calipers. Yeah, my STI actually has bigger brakes. Has 6-piston front calipers. 6-piston Brembos in the front. Have you seen the Subaru STI Levorg? Yeah, but we don't get them in the United States, unfortunately. I'm going to be honest, if we did get those in the United States, I probably would have purchased one. JK says, thanks, man. Love this channel. I love my viewers, dude. Can't do this without you. Let's get a few more questions in this place because we are at almost 70 minutes. So I want to get a few more questions and then we will wrap this baby up. Matt Rain, Certified Teeth Up. Have a good one, dude. Thank you for joining us today. Do you still own your Seiko Tuna or did you sell it? I will never sell that. I freaking love that watch. One of the best everyday pieces. What's the automotive version of a G-Shock? Jeep Rubicon, baby. Thoughts on Era watches. So I reviewed the Era Tourbillon like a couple years ago. And it was interesting, but I said at the beginning of that episode, it is not a watch I would wear. Like, it is not a watch that I personally would be interested in. It's definitely a value proposition if someone wants the feeling of luxury with like complications involved, but it's not a watch that I personally would wear because different strokes for different folks. Best moon phase watch under $1,000. I've made an episode about this, I have a feeling. Reed! Uncle Reed Grabowski! Hey, did I see a 996 as a tease photo? Reed, 4 months ago, I purchased a Porsche 996, and I am revealing it to the world right now. I've kept it a secret because I've been working on it. But I've added a 996 to the stable. Thank you, Bryson, for the link to the moon phase episode. You rock. Bryson, can we just appreciate for a moment? Bryson has corona, and he is working on the stream right now. Another round of applause for my moderators, people. Rick Green, Certified Teeth Ross, says, Uncle Reed, I think you're going to be proud of your nephew's procurement. Where do I buy my watches from? The Time Teller shop, silly. The Opulent Life says, I really like your Reverso. Why don't you wear that often? I do. I wear it all the time. I love that. It was a huge grail for me. I will literally never get rid of it. I absolutely love that watch. And it's a watch that I really enjoy wearing casually. The Pigs and the Blankets, Certified Teeth Robot says, have a good Thanksgiving. When does the Black Friday sale start? It starts midnight, November 27th, Pacific time, Friday. That is Black Friday. When the clock strikes 12, after Thanksgiving Thursday, boom, Friday morning, midnight, be there. The site will go live. If you go to the site right now, there's a landing page. You won't be able to see any of the products. You will see some amazing watches. Some you might not even believe that we have for sale at the Time Teller shop. You're going to be like, what? T3 got his hands on what? You're going to be very, very impressed. Jordan says, hey, are you going to have a Black Friday sale for the Time Teller shop? See, this is why I love my channel members, because they're purposefully asking me this so that I repeat it to get as much exposure. You know what? Let's do a round of applause for my channel members. We cannot do this with very active members such as Jordan, such as the Pigs in the Blankets, such as Wash This Guy, Lord Elgin, Rick Green, all my regulars. Round of applause. Your boy says advertising 100. You guys rock. How much wrist time does your Certina get? I would say a lot, actually, because it's a very sporty watch. And my dad, before I was alive, my dad actually went diving with that watch. And it doesn't have threaded crown or pushers or anything. So if it survived that, it's going to be able to survive whatever I throw at it. Bryson Hacker, Certified T3 Bot and moderator, asks, his wife asks, when will you add some women's watches to the shop? You know, if your wife and some more of my female viewership, which has increased, okay, if they have written to me more like this and show more of an interest, then I most likely will add more women's watches to the shop. Now, the good news, Bryson, and for any of my female viewers out there, in fact, the vast majority of the dress watches I have are well under 40 millimeters, which means, especially by today's standards, they're definitely unisex. So a woman could absolutely wear any of the sub 40 millimeter dress watches that I'm throwing up on the site. There's going to be a multitude, a plethora to choose from for Black Friday. A lot of tank style watches, sub 40 millimeters, that a woman could very elegantly, very easily pull off. So, yeah, Bryson, that's what I'll say. But also, if I can get some more females to actually inquire, then it might become very well worth it for me to start scouting out some more women's watches. PLM, T3 wears women's watches? Well, you wouldn't be the first to accuse me of such. I typically wear sub 40 millimeter vintage watches, so by today's standards, people would consider them girly, and that's perfectly fine because none of you guys would say it to my face, so it's all good. That fellow there, certified T3 and moderator, says, Marissa, tell your brother to sell women's watches so our wives start approving of the watch addiction. JRW3 says, I'm a bartender and I see a lot of women wear men's watches. Hey, there's no rules. Watch This Guy, certified T3 says, actually, will be great. My wife is a secret watch collector, although she denied it before I met her. Thinking of buying her a watch for Christmas. Well, Watch This Guy, please. Chill says he's threatening us. No. It was a warning. I'm just kidding. Watch This Guy. No, I'm not. Watch This Guy says that he's thinking of buying his wife a watch for Christmas. Well, go to the Time Teller shop on Black Friday because we will have a lot of really cool sub 40 millimeter watches there. We're also going to have a few watches above 40 millimeters. I don't want to give anything away. Hey, Jory, do you like the Seiko Tuna SBBN 015? Do you prefer your SBBN 031? Well, obviously, I do, because I still own the 031. So, yeah. Are there links to this Time Teller shop anywhere? Jordan, oh my god, thank you for asking. There are. If you go to the community tab at my homepage for the channel, so you guys are already here at the Time Teller channel on YouTube. If you go to the Time Teller YouTube page and you click the community section, you can see a link to the #1 place to find affordable vintage luxury watches. You can also go to the About section on my YouTube page, and it will tell you, hey, you want to go to the #1 place to find affordable vintage luxury watches? Click here. Or what I can just do right now, because you guys, I mean, why not? Jordan asked. Like, Jordan wanted to know, so it would be kind of foolish for me not to answer Jordan's question. Jordan, for you, I have a link right here. Copy paste that in your browser, keep it in your notes, and then come Black Friday, you're gonna be ready to go, boy. The adverts by the T3 bots. Yo, I have the T3 army. Jordan's killing me right now. He goes, that seems so convenient and useful, Jory. Well, thank you, Jordan. Thanks for asking, man. Yeah. The Pigs and the Blankets says, thanks for asking, Jordan. It is very convenient and useful, guys. And if you click that link and you keep it bookmarked, you'll be perhaps one of the first people there ready to go for Black Friday. And guys, let me tell you, a little bit of added convenience. It doesn't matter how you want to pay because we take credit card, we take PayPal, we take Amazon, and Apple Pay. Pfft, wow! So, guys, we have you covered. You know, oddly enough, we don't take cash, which is, yeah, that is kind of weird, actually. Someday. Anyway, guys, thank you. Jordan's got you covered. That's very true. Your boy says deal breaker. All right, guys. So I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. as you can tell, the majority of this live stream is just laughing, and it's because it's easily my favorite part of the week. If I can just get to the Saturday live stream, then the whole week will have been worth it. Jordan says, just this morning I woke up and thought, man, I wish there was a secure, well-curated place to get affordable vintage watches. And here it is. The universe is just wild. Jordan, you rock. So if you couldn't tell, I have a very active membership community filled with people like Dean and Jordan, Steve Place, that fellow there, the pigs and the blankets. Let's see who's here. Bryson. I think we had the Cars and Watch was here also earlier. Lord Elgin, Rick Green. Just a bunch of really, really, really fun, I'll say unique people, because it's just... and the best thing about it, I think, is that everyone's very diverse. We have people literally from, sure, different regions of the US, but also like different countries. So different like places, like different places around the globe. So, yeah, if you want to join that community, then consider supporting the channel. You know, we joke about shopping at the Time Teller shop, checking out the Amazon store and everything, but the most direct way to help is by joining the channel, because that monthly support lets me film the content and pay the editors, and the less I have to worry about editing, the more I can focus on writing and filming, and then, you know, that's where the monthly support comes in. So if you want to join, click the join button next to the subscribe button, and yeah, you help us out a bunch here. And then, of course, please do, all jokes aside, check out the Black Friday sale again, guys. November 27th, okay? So November 26th, Thursday, when the clock is heading towards midnight, boom, when the clock strikes 12, that is Friday. And don't miss out. I had a whole bunch of people writing to me last year that they missed out, and we're really hitting it hard so that everybody has the best chance of getting what they want. Guys, you could have been anywhere this Saturday, but you chose to hang out with me, and I do not take that for granted. This truly is my favorite part of the week. And yeah, I love each and every one of you. Round of applause for my moderators. Round of applause for my channel members. And then, finally, round of applause for my viewers. And Lord Elgin says, dab. Guys, we can't do it without any of the viewers, so thank you so much. We had a couple hundred people here this week, or excuse me, well, this week's live stream, and yeah, it was awesome. So, after this live stream, guys, please stay tuned, because I am going to be uploading the Friday episode, and it's going to be a little bit of a rant. Very excited. Think you guys will enjoy it. So if you want some more content from the Time Teller channel, fear not, just stay here, because I'm going to be uploading an episode within the hour. All right, guys. I love you. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. Get out of your comfort zone. Tell someone you love them. I'll start it off. Love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of the weekend. I will see you on Monday. Well, I'll see you during the episode that I'm about to upload as well. So don't worry, I'll be there with you for the episode. But also, I'll see my members on the Discord chat. All right? Have a good one, guys. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. And always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. Have a good one, guys. I will see you in the episode.